بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. Mufti Taqi Usmani Sahib Hafidhahullah, he mentions a story from his life. He says, because that once he was passing by some area in a village. Now obviously it's Pakistan, so in probably one of those places not developed long time ago. Now the way they are, the madrasa is very developed and it's very modern. In that time it's like a village. So nowadays we have toys, we have pound stores, we have all of these things. If you've been to one of these places before, a poor country, poor area, kids play with everything. They play with tins, old tins, they play with rocks, they play anything. Yes. So in reality, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can give you enjoyment in anything. Some kids have the whole house full of toys, they have everything and say, I'm bored. And some people have nothing, but they make do with rocks and stones and running behind of animals, and that the whole day passes that in enjoyment. So he says that there were some girls, young little girls, they were playing, and they had made some toys with mud. They had made some toys with mud and like little balls and little things, and were playing with that. So when they were playing, kids, you got bullies in kids. So one of the elder girls, or one of the stronger girls, she broke the younger girls' mud little whatever they had made, small little, not snowman, a small little mud man or a little mud toy or whatever, they were doing something. So then that girl started crying so much, the little girl. She started crying so much and she ran to her mom and she was complaining. So he said, actually this story is actually the story about his teacher. This story is not Mufti story, it's actually his teacher's teacher, his father's teacher, Mawlana Hussein Asghar. But the story is still the same. So he says in this, and he said, I laughed. Little girl, 5 years old, 6 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old. She's crying as if, what happened? Her whole world come to an end. Because a small little mudden toy that she had formed or molded, somebody broke it. So she's crying as if my whole world's come to an end, running to her mom. Yes. And then he mentioned one of his own stories, stuck himself afterwards. So this is a story that his teacher mentioned. And from there, this is the point. We look at that, we laugh. And if we look at even our childhood, like for example, if you're playing playing football, and the ball crossed the line or not, big fight in it. Little fight, get in fights, get angry. When we were younger playing cricket, you do edge the ball, not edge the ball. People start getting angry and they're fighting and somebody's crying and somebody's saying, no, you guys are... Now we look back, it's just a joke. What are we doing? It's important, not important at all. So from these two stories, he mentions that the point we should learn is, when you're 4 or 5 years old, you think that's my whole world. The marbles that you've lost, the toy that's broken, you wrote a drawing on the board, somebody erased it. And the parents don't even have time for this, you just ignore them. Because it's not important. But to that person, this is the whole world. When you get older, you realize, that was just messing around, it's a waste of time. Correct? So similarly, when we get older, you realize when I was a teenager, that pair of jeans was so important to me. That pair of clothes was so important. Those shoes were so important. I don't know what teenagers go through. I've forgotten, I'm quite old now. All these little things that I want to look cool, a pair of shades or whatever you have. And when you get a bit older, like I said, what an idiot I was. So you got 40, like myself when I was 12, 13, 14, you just laugh at yourself. When you're 40, like with 25, that was a bit immature. When you get 60, 70, we look back at when I was 40 and say, oh, I was so childish. So it's such a narrow view of the world. And more importantly, or even more sad than this is, when you die. The same way that little girl is laughing that, oh, she was crying, a little girl, that, oh, my little mud, whatever she had molding, that's broken. And she was crying as if the whole world. So today when we see, you lost, your laptop doesn't work, or your car got damaged, or something, you lost £100, and you cry and you worry and you make dua, and it's the biggest musibah that came upon you. And then after you look at and laugh at yourselves, if you go Jannah inshallah, in a good way, that how silly were we in the dunya. So remember, everything that you're looking for right now will have no value in a few years' time. No value, nothing. Like that last year. How many football matches you could not stop looking at the score on your phone in masjid, or in the class, on the way home from school? Do you remember which football match you watched? Or which football match score do you check for? Do you remember? That time was so important, today's match. I had to check the score. I need to check the score. If I don't get the score, I'm going to miss out. And if you ask which match, he's like, I don't remember. No value. Like, I don't even know. And even in good things sometimes. I was going through some old recordings, I have some cassettes. So one from 2005. So old cassette player. So in our madrasa in Darul, like the main thing is that you study the whole day. So end of year, if you come first, that's like what? You've achieved. And we had a separate prize. I don't know if you said that prize. Who came first to one madrasa? You said that prize? Did you ever get it? Yeah. So I never got it. I never had it that time. So I was going through recording. I said, oh, look. And I sent it to somebody, one of our friends. And I sent it to him. That Mawlana Asghar was announcing that Fulan came first in the whole madrasa. And I sent him the recording. And he goes, what's this? He goes, madrasa. He goes, I can't remember. So at that time, it was so like whether it was achievement, if you're so happy that from you going first in your class, from all the students, you got 90-something% average, 98% average, and your name is called out. You're the most, like, the top student in the whole madrasa. And he himself can't, I can't remember. And he had to go through it. And he goes, he's ringing a bell. He doesn't remember. So it's good that you work. So whatever ilm you acquired, that will remain with you. But everything else, there's no value. Everything else, what happens? It goes down the drain. So even when you're teenagers, 20s, like when you get a new phone, what happens? You can't stop looking at it, no? And if you get small little dirt, you wipe it, you clean it, you rub it. After 3 months, what happens? No value. If it gets one crack, then it gets 3 or 4 after that, you're not bothered. So at the beginning, it just wears off. Yes, in everything. So right now, the things that you're making a big fuss for, whether it's shoes, whether it's clothes, whether it's even in class, I want to be the funniest in class. I want to be the most respected in my gang, our circle. When you look back in 10 years' time, everything you just laugh at yourself. The same way that Mufti was saying, how he used to laugh, how his teacher was saying, how he laugh at these little girls. It's like they're fighting over like a piece of mud, has no value. It's the exact same thing. So when you're in your youth, when you're young, when you're teenagers, like it's a bit of like junoon, that strength and vigor. If you use it for good things, you look back with happiness. Alhamdulillah, 1 year Ramadan, we went itikaf. 1 year Ramadan, we went Jamaat. This year Ramadan, I led Taraweeh. Yes? But that little thing that, I want to just go out to the masjid and mess around. You look back and you say, oh, what a stupid idiot I was. You call yourself an idiot. That was so stupid. I'm wasting my time. So everything you're going after right now, look at it. Is this really going to be worth that in 20 years when you look back, will you laugh at yourself? We spent so much time on this. Do you understand? So don't make it your obsession. The clothes you want, the fame that you want to be the biggest, the best, the most well-known, that you look the best in class, you seem the smartest in class, or you be the strongest, you can bully everybody, you have the answers, you think you can answer back to your teachers, you think you're clever, you have a witty, all of these things you look back and say, you laugh at yourself. So right now, in the vigor of youth, don't get carried away. You understand? Is everybody what I'm saying? Because that's how you look back. Same way that. You lose marbles when you're a kid. What happens? Like, you're so sad. I lost my marbles in the game. My car broke, my little toy car, you run around. And that's when he steps on that. My whole world, my favorite car is gone. It's damaged. You cry. And if I give you that car now, 10 of them, you say, I don't want it. I don't want it. It's when he said, oh, when I was younger, we were playing together, I stole your car toy, and he comes to give back to you. You would be happy that he gave back to you your car toy. I don't want it, it's a car toy. But that time it's like, oh no, my car toy got stolen. That was so important. My favorite remote control car. And if your friend comes and says, oh, you know what, I'm sorry. You say, I don't want it. And it's all right, it's gone. So the same thing, you're fighting for business, you're fighting for money, you're fighting for power, fighting for all of these things. In the hereafter, it's like, it's nothing, it's just useless. I will bring back value, the good deeds that you do. The good deeds, the a'mal. The Prophet ﷺ says that, that after you do your good deeds, and like after a while elapses, what will happen? You think, yeah, that was something, alhamdulillah, that I done that good deed. Yes? If you skip madrasa and you look back, you don't feel happy that, oh, I skived madrasa. But if you say, oh, I got full attendance, when you look back, you say, yeah, alhamdulillah, when I was in first year, second year, when I was in Maktab, I got full attendance. That makes you happy. Do you understand? So make sure the things that you see are so important right now, you don't get carried away in those things, that when you look back in the future, you realize, I was an idiot. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from being idiots. سبحان الله وبحمده سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك